happiness always has its opposite because it is related to your body. The opposite of happiness is sadness. You have too much of something, you will have sadness. You don't have enough, you will have sadness. So this is where, when you live in the material world, lack thereof will create misery, and too much of it will also create misery. Ask anybody who has spent their whole life trying to earn money. They will also realize that they were much better off when they had a moderate amount of money. Not too much, but because now money and looking after the money consumes them. But try telling that to a person who doesn't have money, they will say, I'd rather have that problem. But I understand that also. But anything that we do physically, in physical nature, it's a double-sided coin. You can't say, I just want this pleasurable side of it. See, another part of happiness is pleasure. Pleasure is in your mind. When you take pleasure from things, enjoyment is happening in your mind, even though if you might be physically eating a meal on your tongue. But the pleasure of that is happening in your mind. That can also, again, have an opposite. Whenever you will not have this pleasure again, you will say, how come I don't have that pleasure again? Let's say you had a pleasurable time being with your lover. Now that your lover is no longer there or they have left, now you will have the opposite of that. But there is an antidote here. Only when you start walking towards your spiritual self and you start realizing a soul within yourself, then a certain joy rises in you. Then a certain, the word that most people will use is bliss. Hindus call it Ananda. It is a joy of going home. It is of yoga. When the process of uniting happens with the whole, the supreme soul, with the entirety, and you start belonging to the whole, that produces joy and bliss. And this joy and bliss at times makes you dance. But at the most of the times when you are in your normal mood, it is still churning in you. You still feel it because you're going home. So most people are chasing joy and bliss of the soul, the joy of going home. But we settle for material things, but they are not the real water. They will keep you occupied for a little bit of a time, but then you're at it again. But the joy of going home is so beautiful that that's what becomes joy, bliss, that basically stays with you, and it doesn't bring the opposite effect. So that's what most people are chasing. Most happiness, when we mortgage our happiness to things or other people even, we are bound to be disappointed also. So you have to really understand, what am I seeking? What am I seeking? I'll go as far as to say that most of our seeking is ill-placed, meaning we are seeking the eternal in the fleeting. We are seeking our divine self in effervescent things, in effervescent phenomena. And that's where you have to say, okay, that meal I had 3 days ago was wonderful. I paid a lot of money for it, but it was wonderful. But my God, I'm hungry again. You know, all of these things. And if you are always chasing these material things, you end up with a life full of these unfulfilled things. When everything in life is teaching you to go seek your higher self, to seek that which resides in you. When I say higher self, it does not mean something outside of you. It means something deep within you that lies undiscovered. Undiscovered. It just lies there all your life. And you are that. You are that. And once you start recognizing that and realizing that, that's when the true joy, bliss comes.